You are listening to your new Puppies podcast, starting you and your dog off on the right paw. Here's your host, Debbie Salento.
Hello and welcome to episode 80 of Your New Puppies podcast. I'm Debbie, and today I'm just going to talk about why I don't teach the cue off. So usually we want to use the cue off when our dog is jumping up on something. So when they're jumping on people, maybe it's the couch, maybe it's your kitchen counters because they're looking for food. Now, I have nothing against teaching the cue off to your dog. I just approach it in a different way where teaching the cue isn't even necessary. I like to streamline the process and take out that step. And here's why. Because when one of my clients asked me, how do I teach the word off to tell them to get down from jumping up on something? What I'm really being asked is, how do I stop my dog from jumping on people? How do I stop them from counter surfing? How do I stop them from going up on the couch? So really what we want to teach our dog is to keep four paws on the ground. And when we think about it this way, dogs learn through repetition. So if we need to use the word off, they've already performed the behavior that we didn't want them to do in the first place. So I would rather back up a step and teach them four paws on the ground is a good thing. That's where you get rewarded. There's no need to lift up your paws. And in fact, we want to teach them it doesn't work for them. So this is one of those places that I'd rather teach them the habit of keeping four paws on the ground so they don't even think about jumping up. So eventually we don't even need the cue at all. Now, again, some trainers might disagree with me because they might approach it a different way. This is just the way I approach it. Here's a couple examples of what I mean. So if we're trying to teach them off because they keep jumping on our guests, what we really want them to do is to be calm and have four paws on the ground when they greet our guests. And how I want to do this, and I talk about this all the way back in episode 8, but we want to teach them that they only get attention, whether it's from you or from your guests, when they are calm. If they do jump up, they lose access to that attention, whether it's you bringing them away from the guests or you turning your back or even walking away from your dog. So then the jumping itself doesn't work for them anymore. Keeping four paws on the ground works for them because that's where they're going to get their attention. That's where they're going to get rewarded. In fact, in this case specifically, trying to teach our dog off, because we know what's happening is we're going off, 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 trying to get our dog to stop jumping. We're giving them the attention that they're looking for. So we could actually be reinforcing this behavior that we're trying to stop. Okay. Again, more detail, episode 8. I'll link to that in the show notes, or you can just search for it wherever you're listening to this episode. The other really common example is counter surfing. And it's the same idea. Ideally with counter surfing, which I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail here because that is a whole monster all by itself. But essentially we need to prevent it and manage it. And yes, we need to stop it while it's happening, which is usually when we're looking to use this cue. But really, we don't need the cue. We just need to interrupt it. You just need to give them a and I usually slide myself between them and the counter, which kind of forces them to go down. And then we teach them, yes, this is where I want you to be. Four paws on the floor whenever you're in the kitchen, whenever you're near the couch, wherever they're jumping that we don't want them to. And with management, prevention, and intentional training, eventually they're not even trying to jump up anymore because we've taught them that doesn't work for you. Staying on the ground, that works for you. That's where the tension comes. That's where the good stuff comes. So at the end of the day, if these are the reasons why you're looking to use the cue, don't focus on the cue. Focus on teaching your dog what you want them to do, which is to not even jump up in the first place. And that's it. This was super short. I just wanted to come on here and talk about this because I do get asked it a lot, and it's a different way of looking at trying to teach your dog's behavior. I say this all the time. We are human beings. We are vocal creatures. So our default is to find something that we can tell our dogs to do. But sometimes we're actually creating more work for ourselves, or we're not doing what can be the most effective. So this is just a different way to look at this type of behavior, this type of training. And that is all I have for you today. If you are enjoying this podcast, you can rate and review it wherever you listen. If you would like to continue training with me, you can check out my website at playtimepaws.com, where I have both in-person training, digital training, and products, including Playtime Paws Academy, where you get direct access to me to ask all of your training questions. Thank you so much for listening. I'll be speaking with you soon. Bye for now.